Rain hits the glass behind her desk like it knows something you don't. Claire Hawthorne slides a contract across mahogany and says the words that will ruin him. Pretend to be my husband for 1 year. Ryan Cole is a single dad holding his life together with hospital bills and dinosaur-shaped cereal. He reads the number at the bottom. It could save his mother. It could give his son a future. It could also destroy the only thing he has left, his ability to tell the truth. So, he asks the question that changes everything. Do we have to sleep in the same bed? This is the story of a marriage that started as fraud and became the only honest thing either of them ever built. Drop a comment with where you're watching from. Let's see how far love travels when it starts with a lie. The signature happens 3 days later, but the decision happens in a hospital corridor at 2 in the morning. Ryan sits in a plastic chair that costs nothing and feels like it. The fluorescent lights above him hum with the particular cruelty of medical buildings after midnight. His mother sleeps behind a door that closes too quietly, the kind of quiet that makes you wonder if silence is practice for something permanent. A doctor had spoken to him an hour ago using words like treatment options and clinical trials and out-of-pocket maximum. Ryan had nodded through all of it, his face doing the work his brain couldn't manage. The numbers lived in his phone, now in a banking app that refreshed every time he opened it, like maybe the truth would change if he checked enough times. It never did. His mother had tried to smile when he came back into the room. She always tried to smile even when her hands shook from the medication, even when the insurance company sent another letter explaining why they wouldn't cover what she needed to survive. "You've already done enough," she had whispered. Ryan had lied and said he hadn't. That there was more, that he had a plan. He didn't have a plan. He had a contract in his email and a conscience that wouldn't stop screaming. The walk home takes him past buildings that cost more than he'll earn in a decade. Boston at night has a way of reminding you exactly where you stand. The old money glows different than new money. It doesn't need to prove anything. It just is. Ryan's apartment in Somerville is small in the way that real estate listings call cozy and everyone else calls cramped. But it's clean. It's safe. And when he unlocks the door at 3 in the morning, his son is asleep in the next room, dreaming about dinosaurs or spaceships or whatever 5-year-olds dream about when the world hasn't ruined them yet. Mrs. Kwan from downstairs had watched Leo while Ryan sat in that hospital chair. She doesn't ask for much, just leftovers sometimes and the promise that Ryan will check her smoke detector when it beeps. It's the kind of neighborhood where people still do that. Help without expecting credit. Ryan stands in Leo's doorway and watches his son breathe. Leo sleeps like he's defending a fort, one arm flung over a stuffed triceratops, the other clutching a blanket that used to be blue before the washing machine decided otherwise. Ryan thinks about the contract, about the number at the bottom, about what that number could buy. Not happiness, you can't buy that. But you can buy time. You can buy treatment. You can buy the chance to watch your mother smile without pain behind her eyes. He thinks about Claire Hawthorne sitting behind that desk like she was born there. The way she didn't blink when she made the offer. The way she looked at him like he was a solution to a problem, not a person. But also the way her hand had tightened around her coffee mug when she said the words 1 year. Like maybe she hated this as much as he did. Ryan closes Leo's door and sits at the kitchen table. He opens his laptop. The contract is still there waiting. He reads it again, slower this time, looking for the trap he knows must exist. It's almost fair. That's what scares him. A promotion to senior strategist. A bonus that would clear his debts and cover his mother's treatment with enough left over to breathe. Full medical coverage for him and Leo, a private room in Claire's home with space for his son, and all he has to do is lie to everyone for a year. Ryan thinks about Leo's mother, Jenna, the way she left when Leo was 6 months old with a note that said she wasn't ready and a silence that lasted 5 years. Leo asks about her sometimes in the way kids ask about things they don't quite understand, but know they're supposed to care about. Do I have a mom? Yes. Where is she? I don't know. Does she love me? Ryan always pauses on that one. Because the truth is complicated and 5-year-olds don't do complicated. So he says what he can. She loved you the best way she knew how. It's not a lie, it's just not the whole truth. And maybe that's what this contract is. Not a lie, just not the whole truth. Ryan signs it at 4 a.m. He sends it back before he can change his mind. Then he closes the laptop and sits in the dark waiting for regret or relief or whatever emotion comes next. What comes is Leo's voice from the hallway. Dad Ryan turns. Leo stands there in pajamas with planets on them, his hair pointing in 6 directions, his eyes half closed. Bad dream. Buddy Leo shakes his head. Just wanted to make sure you were real. Ryan's chest tightens. He holds out his arms and Leo shuffles over, climbing into his lap like he weighs nothing. He doesn't weigh nothing anymore. He's growing. Every day, a little taller, a little smarter, a little more aware that the world is harder than dinosaur documentaries make it seem. I'm real, Ryan whispers into Leo's hair. Good. Leo murmurs, already falling back asleep. Ryan holds him until the sun starts to ruin the darkness. Then he carries Leo back to bed and starts making breakfast because that's what you do. You keep going, you make cereal, you tie shoes, you pretend the decision you made at 4 a.m. won't change everything. Morning in the Cole household is controlled chaos. Leo spills milk while explaining the difference between a Brachiosaurus and a Brontosaurus. Ryan burns toast while trying to find matching socks, which is a losing battle because Leo has declared that matching socks are for people who don't understand fashion. Leo wears one sock with trucks and one sock with planets and announces this makes him scientifically balanced. Ryan doesn't argue. There are bigger battles to fight. Dad, Leo says through a mouthful of cereal. If a T-Rex had feelings, would it be sad? Ryan pauses, shoelace halfway tied. Probably. Leo nods, considering this with the gravity of a philosopher. I'm sad sometimes. Ryan's hands go still. He looks at his son. Really looks at him. Leo isn't crying. He's just stating a fact the way he states that the sky is blue or that broccoli is disgusting. Why Buddy Leo shrugs the movement small and honest. Because moms leave. The words land like stones. Ryan swallows hard. He wants to say something that fixes this, something that makes it better, but there's no script for this. There's no manual for explaining to a 5-year-old why the person who should have stayed didn't. Ryan kisses Leo's forehead right above the constellation of freckles that appeared last summer. We're okay, he says. Leo squints up at him, those bright eyes that miss nothing. That sounded like a lie. Ryan almost laughs. Almost. Yeah, he admits, maybe a little. Leo seems satisfied with this. He goes back to his cereal and his dinosaur facts, and Ryan finishes tying his shoes and wonders how a 5-year-old got so good at spotting the truth. The call comes while Ryan is dropping Leo off at kindergarten. It's Claire's assistant professional and polite. Ms. Hawthorne would like to finalize arrangements today. Are you available at 2? Ryan says yes, because what else is he going to say? He spends the morning at work trying to focus on campaign analytics and failing. His coworker Janet asks if he's okay. He says he's fine, which is the adult version of Leo's lie detector going off. Janet doesn't push. She just leaves a coffee on his desk and goes back to her own problems. At 2 o'clock, Ryan walks into Hawthorne Creative and Brands like he's walking into a courtroom. The building is all glass and steel and the kind of modern art that costs more than cents. People move through the lobby with purpose, their shoes clicking against marble that probably has a name. Claire's office is on the top floor. Of course it is. The elevator ride up feels longer than it should. Ryan watches the numbers climb and wonders if this is what astronauts feel like before launch. That mix of terror and commitment, you can't back out now. You're already in motion. Claire is waiting when he steps inside. She's dressed like someone who has never doubted a decision in her life. Dark blazer and sharp lines and eyes that catalog everything. "Ryan," she says, not a question, a statement. "Claire." She gestures to the chair across from her desk. He sits. The contract is already printed, 2 copies a pen placed precisely between them. Before we proceed, Claire says, "I need to be clear about expectations." Ryan nods. "This is not a relationship. This is a business arrangement. We will maintain separate living spaces within my home. We will present a united front in public. We will not contradict each other. And most importantly, we will not allow personal feelings to complicate what is fundamentally a transaction." Ryan hears what she's saying. He also hears what she's not saying. That she's as scared as he is. That she's trying to control something that can't be controlled. That she's built walls so high she's forgotten what the view looks like without them. "Understood," Ryan says. Claire's shoulders drop half an inch. Relief, maybe. Or just the release of tension. "Your son," she continues. "Leo, he'll have his own room. There's a guest wing on the 3rd floor, plenty of space. I've arranged for enrollment at." Ryan holds up a hand. "I need to tell Leo something." Claire pauses. "We agreed on discretion. We agreed on a lot of things," Ryan says. "But Leo's 5. He doesn't do discretion. He does honesty. If we lie to him, he'll know. And if he knows we're lying, he'll ask why. And I'm not going to teach my son that lying to people you care about is acceptable." Claire's expression shifts. Something almost like respect. "What do you propose?" We tell him a version of the truth. That you needed help. That I'm helping. That sometimes grown-ups make agreements that are complicated. Kids understand complicated better than we think. Claire considers this, then nods once. Agreed. She slides the contract forward. Ryan signs both copies. Claire signs after him. The pen makes a sound that feels final. "When do we start?" Ryan asks. "Now," Claire says. "My grandmother has requested a family dinner tomorrow evening. You and Leo will be there." Tomorrow, Claire's smile is thin. "Welcome to the Hawthorne family, Ryan." We don't believe in transitions. Move-in day happens faster than Ryan thought possible. One morning, he's in Somerville, and by afternoon, his life is in boxes being carried into a Beacon Hill townhouse that looks like it belongs in a documentary about American wealth. Leo stands in the entryway, eyes wide, taking in the chandelier and the staircase and the art that probably costs more than Ryan's entire education. "Is this a museum?" Leo asks. Ryan almost laughs. "No, buddy, this is where we're going to live for a while." "Why?" "Because I'm helping Claire with something important." "Is she nice?" "I think so." Leo processes this. Then, with the brutal honesty of childhood, "Does she know about dinosaurs?" "I don't know." "That's important, Dad. I'll ask." Claire appears then descending the staircase like someone who learned how to make an entrance before she learned how to smile. She's dressed more casually than at the office, but casual for Claire still means deliberate. Everything about her screams control. "Ryan," she says. "Leo." Leo stares up at her, unblinking. "Are you my new mom?" The question hits the room like a grenade. Ryan freezes. Claire's expression does something complicated. A flicker of panic quickly smoothed into composure. "I'm your dad's friend," Claire says carefully. Leo's gaze drops to Claire's hand, to the ring she's wearing. It's elegant, understated, exactly the kind of engagement ring someone like Claire Hawthorne would choose, or have chosen for her. "That's not a friend ring," Leo observes. Ryan's heart stops. Claire's eyes meet his across Leo's head. They're standing in her entryway with boxes and lies, and a 5-year-old who just detonated their entire carefully constructed story. Claire kneels down slowly until she's at Leo's eye level. Ryan watches, barely breathing. "You're very observant," Claire says. I know Leo agrees. Claire almost smiles. "Almost. How about I show you your room? Then we can talk about dinosaurs, and rings, and friends." Leo considers this. "Do you have any dinosaur books?" "Not yet." "We should fix that." Claire stands, offering her hand. Leo takes it without hesitation, the way kids do when they haven't learned to be afraid of people yet. Ryan watches them walk up the stairs together, his son and the woman he's agreed to lie with, and realizes that the contract didn't account for this, for Leo's honesty, for Claire's unexpected gentleness, for the way she looked at his son like maybe she wanted to get this right. The boxes can wait. Ryan follows them up into whatever comes next, knowing that the lie they're living just became exponentially more complicated. Because Leo sees everything. And pretending to be a family in front of a child who desperately wants one is either the cruelest thing Ryan has ever done or the only honest part of this entire arrangement. He doesn't know which yet, but he's about to find out. Leo's room is on the 3rd floor, tucked into what Claire calls the guest wing, but what feels more like an entire apartment. The ceilings are high enough that sound gets lost before it can settle. The windows overlook a garden that probably has a gardener and a name for every plant. Leo walks the perimeter like he's surveying territory. He touches the walls, tests the bed, opens the closet, and nods like the space meets his specifications. Then he turns to Claire with the kind of seriousness only a 5-year-old can manufacture. "Where do the dinosaurs go?" Claire blinks. Ryan can see her calculating the question, trying to find the correct corporate answer. "Wherever you want them," she says finally. Leo nods, satisfied. "Good, because they need to be able to see the door, in case of intruders." Claire's mouth twitches. Ryan isn't sure if it's amusement or alarm. "That's very strategic," Claire says. "I know Leo agrees. Dad says I'm good at planning." Claire glances at Ryan. He shrugs. "It's true. Leo plans everything from breakfast to bedtime with the precision of a general. It's one of the things Jenna used to complain about before she left, that their son was too serious, too observant, too much work. Ryan had never understood that. Still doesn't. They spend the next hour unpacking Leo's things. Claire helps without being asked, folding clothes and arranging books and asking questions about dinosaur species that she definitely doesn't know the answers to. Leo explains each one with the patience of a teacher and the enthusiasm of someone who has finally found an audience. Ryan watches from the doorway. He's supposed to be unpacking his own room down the hall, but he can't look away. Claire kneels on the carpet beside his son, her expensive clothes getting wrinkled, her hands careful with Leo's stuffed animals like they matter. "When did a Stegosaurus live?" Claire asks. "Late Jurassic period," Leo says without hesitation. "About 150 million years ago." "That's very old." "Older than you," Claire laughs. Actually laughs. The sound is startling, like finding out a statue can move. "Much older than me," she confirms. Ryan's chest does something complicated. He turns away before either of them can notice. That night, after Leo is asleep in a bed that's probably worth more than Ryan's car, Claire finds Ryan in the kitchen. He's making tea, because it's something to do with his hands. The kitchen is the kind of space that comes with a staff, all marble and steel, and appliances Ryan doesn't know how to operate. Claire leans against the counter, arms crossed, watching him fumble with an espresso machine that has more buttons than his laptop. "There are rules we should establish," Claire says. Ryan stops pretending he knows what he's doing. "I'm listening." Claire's voice goes into what Ryan is starting to recognize as CEO mode. Efficient, controlled, every word measured. Separate bedrooms, no public contradictions, no leaks to press or colleagues, no surprises. And Leo's comfort comes first. If at any point this arrangement becomes harmful to him, we stop immediately. Ryan turns to face her fully. Agreed. But I have a rule too. Claire's eyebrow lifts. She's not used to negotiation. Leo can't handle scripted lies, Ryan says. He reads people better than most adults. If we're fake around him, he'll know, and that will hurt him more than the truth. Claire's expression shifts. For a moment, she looks almost vulnerable. Then we tell him a gentler truth, she says quietly. We tell him you needed help with your family, that I'm helping, that sometimes adults make agreements that look like one thing but are really about something else. And when he asks why you're wearing a ring, we tell him that sometimes symbols matter to other people even when they don't mean what they usually mean. Claire considers this, then nods once decision made. You're better at this than I expected. At lying, at parenting. The word sits between them heavy. I've had practice, Ryan says. Claire's eyes hold his for a moment too long. Then she looks away out the kitchen window toward the garden where nothing grows in November. My father built this company, Claire says suddenly. Her voice is different now, quieter, like she's talking to herself as much as to Ryan. He built it from nothing, and when he died, he left me everything except the one thing I actually wanted. What was that a choice? Ryan doesn't push. He's learned that silence is sometimes the best question. Claire's hands tighten on the counter edge. The will stipulates marriage. Real marriage, public marriage, provable marriage, or everything goes to Vanessa, my cousin, who has been waiting for me to fail since we were children. Why does she hate you? Claire's smile is sharp enough to cut. Because I exist. Because my father chose me. Because she's spent her entire life being second, and she's very tired of the view. And your grandmother Evelyn. Claire's voice softens just slightly. She's the only one who ever scared me into being brave. She doesn't tolerate weakness, or excuses, or emotional displays. Sounds exhausting. Claire looks at him, then really looks, and for a second Ryan sees past the armor. It is she admits. They stand in the kitchen with tea. Neither of them is drinking, and the kind of honesty that only happens at midnight when defenses are low. Why me? Ryan asks. Of everyone you could have chosen. Why me? Claire is quiet for a long time. Then, because you don't perform. Everyone else in my world is performing, acting, playing roles. But you're just trying to survive. And that's honest in a way I don't usually encounter. Ryan doesn't know what to say to that, so he says nothing. Claire pushes off the counter. There's a charity gala next week. My grandmother will be there. She'll test you. Test us. I need you ready. Ryan nods. What kind of test? The kind you can't study for. Claire leaves him in the kitchen with cooling tea and the weight of what he's agreed to. Ryan stands there for a while looking at the garden where nothing grows, wondering if honesty is enough when everything else is a lie. The next few days develop a rhythm. Ryan goes to work. Leo goes to kindergarten. Claire runs an empire. They converge at dinner like actors hitting their marks. But something shifts. Leo starts leaving dinosaurs around the house. On Claire's desk, by the coffee maker, in the bathroom sink, little plastic creatures appearing like breadcrumbs. Claire starts moving them, not throwing them away. Moving them. Ryan finds a triceratops on the kitchen counter next to a note in Claire's handwriting. Found this one planning an invasion of the pantry. Relocated him to more strategic ground. Leo thinks this is the funniest thing in the world. She gets it. Leo whispers to Ryan one morning, eyes bright. Gets what, buddy? That dinosaurs are serious. Ryan watches his son arrange his plastic army across the living room floor and realizes they've crossed some invisible line. This isn't performance anymore. This is something else. One evening, Ryan finds Claire on the floor of the living room with Leo, both of them covered in glue and construction paper. They're building a diorama, or trying to. Claire holds a tiny tree in one hand and a glue stick in the other, looking genuinely confused. "It won't stick," she says. "You're using too much glue," Leo explains patiently. "Just a little bit, like this." He demonstrates. Claire follows his lead, her movements careful. She gets glue on her fingers, on her sleeve. She doesn't seem to notice or care. Ryan leans in the doorway watching. Leo giggles at something Claire says. Full-body giggle. The kind of laugh that comes from the stomach and doesn't know how to be fake. "You're bad at glue," Leo announces. Claire looks at her sticky fingers. "I'm excellent at hostile takeovers," she says. "This is new territory." What's a hostile takeover? It's when you acquire a company that doesn't want to be acquired. Leo thinks about this. Like when Dad makes me eat broccoli. Claire's mouth twitches. Exactly like that. Ryan's chest tightens. Because this moment isn't in the contract. It's not part of the arrangement. It's just Claire covered in craft supplies and his son laughing, and something that feels dangerously close to real. Later, after Leo is asleep, Ryan finds Claire on the balcony outside her bedroom. She's still in her work clothes, but the blazer is gone. She looks tired in a way that expensive things can't hide. "Can I join you?" Ryan asks. Claire nods without looking at him. Boston spreads out below them, all lights and history, and the weight of old money sleeping in old houses. The air is cold enough to sting. Leo's mother left when he was 6 months old, Ryan says suddenly. He doesn't know why he's saying it, except that silence feels like lying right now. She left a note, said she wasn't ready, that she'd made a mistake, that being a mother felt like drowning. Claire turns to look at him. "I'm sorry." Ryan shrugs. "I was angry for a long time, then I was just tired. Now, I'm just trying to make sure Leo doesn't grow up thinking he wasn't enough. Because he was. He is. She just couldn't see it." "Does he ask about her sometimes?" I tell him the truth, that she loved him the best way she knew how. That sometimes people leave and it's not because of anything you did wrong. That's very kind. Ryan's laugh is short. It's survival. Kids internalize everything. If I let him think his mother left because of something broken in him, that becomes the story he tells himself forever. Claire is quiet for a long moment. "My father left me a company," she says finally, "and a family that only speaks in leverage. Every conversation is a negotiation. Every dinner is a power play. Love is a weakness they exploit. So you're buying time." Claire's jaw tightens. "I'm buying control. So Vanessa can't destroy everything my father built. So I can choose what happens to this company instead of having it dictated by a will written by a man who thought marriage was the only proof of stability." And after the year, Claire doesn't answer. The silence feels like its own response. 3 days later, Claire hands Ryan a garment bag. "The gala is tomorrow night," she says. "This should fit." Ryan unzips it, a tuxedo. Expensive. The kind that probably has an Italian name. "I've never worn anything that costs this much. You'll wear it well." How do you know Claire's eyes meet his? "Because you'll be standing next to me, and I don't accept anything less than excellent." It's not arrogance, it's just fact. Ryan realizes this is how Claire has survived. By demanding excellence from everything and everyone, including herself. "Your grandmother will be there." Claire nods. "She'll test you, ask questions designed to catch inconsistencies. She's very good at finding cracks." What do I say? The truth, wherever possible. And where it's not possible, Claire's smile is thin. Then you'll do what everyone in my family does. You'll perform. The gala is held in a downtown hotel ballroom that probably hosts presidential fundraisers and diplomats. The kind of place where the champagne is French and the guest list is vetted, and everyone moves like they were born knowing how to work a room. Ryan adjusts his bow tie for the third time. Claire's hand covers his. You look fine, she says. I look like I'm playing dress-up. Good, so does everyone else. They're just better at pretending they're not. They enter together. Claire's hand rests in the crook of Ryan's elbow. The contact is light but deliberate. They're on stage now. Every movement matters. People notice, of course they notice. Claire Hawthorne doesn't bring dates. Doesn't bring anyone. The whispers start before they're fully through the door. A woman approaches, tall, elegant, with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She looks at Claire the way a chess player looks at the board. Claire, the woman says, how lovely to see you. Vanessa Claire's voice is perfectly neutral. May I introduce Ryan Cole? Ryan, my cousin Vanessa Hawthorne. Vanessa's eyes travel over Ryan, calculating, cataloging, looking for weakness. So you're the husband, Vanessa says. And you're the cousin, Ryan replies evenly. Vanessa laughs, but there's no warmth in it. Careful, she says, voice low enough that only they can hear. People who marry into this family usually regret it. Is that a threat or advice? Vanessa's smile sharpens. I'll let you figure that out. She drifts away into the crowd. Claire's hand tightens almost imperceptibly on Ryan's arm. She knows Ryan says quietly. She suspects. There's a difference. And when suspicion becomes certainty, Claire's voice drops. Then we make very sure our story is airtight. They move through the room. Claire introduces Ryan to people whose names sound like law firms and investment banks. He shakes hands, makes small talk, plays the role of devoted husband well enough that he almost believes it himself. Then he sees her, an elderly woman sitting in a wingback chair like it's a throne. She's thin in the way that comes from age and illness, but her eyes are sharp, predatory. She watches the room like a hawk watching mice, your grandmother Ryan says. Claire's spine straightens. Evelyn, the woman's eyes find them across the room. She lifts one thin finger, a summons. Claire and Ryan approach. Ryan feels like he's walking toward a firing squad. Grandmother Claire says, "This is Ryan Cole." Evelyn's gaze moves over Ryan with surgical precision. She misses nothing. The way he holds himself. The slight callus on his ring finger from the new band. The exhaustion he tries to hide. "Come closer," Evelyn commands. Ryan steps forward. Evelyn reaches out and takes his hand. Her grip is surprisingly strong. "Why you?" she asks. Her voice is reedy but clear. Ryan feels Claire tense beside him. This is the test, the moment everything could unravel. He could lie, could say something about love at first sight or destiny or any of the things people say when they're trying to sell a story. Instead, he tells a version of the truth. Because Claire doesn't need someone to complete her, Ryan says quietly. She needs someone who won't run when life gets ugly. Evelyn's eyes narrow. And you won't run. I'm still here. Evelyn studies him for a long moment. Then she looks at Claire. Traditional ceremony, she says, not a request, a command. Next month, real vows, real kiss. I want to see commitment before I die. Claire's face goes pale. Grandmother Evelyn holds up a hand. No arguments. You want control of this company, you show me you can commit to something beyond quarterly reports. You show me you understand that some things matter more than profit margins. She releases Ryan's hand and settles back in her chair, suddenly looking every one of her 87 years. You're dismissed. Claire and Ryan walk away. Neither speaks until they reach the balcony outside the ballroom. The city sprawls below them, indifferent to their crisis. A wedding, Ryan says. Claire's hands grip the balcony rail. A real wedding. In front of everyone. With vows and rings and a kiss that will be photographed and posted and dissected. We agreed to marriage. We agreed to paperwork. This is theater. Ryan turns to look at her. Isn't everything in your world theater? Claire's eyes flash. This is different. Why? Because Claire stops, takes a breath, starts again. Because when we kiss in front of 300 people, I can't pretend it doesn't mean something. The words hang between them. Ryan's heart does something complicated in his chest. Maybe it doesn't have to mean what you think it means, he says quietly. Claire looks at him. Really looks. For a moment, Ryan thinks she might say something real, something true, something that breaks through all the performance. Instead, she straightens her shoulders. We should get back inside. She walks away. Ryan stays on the balcony, looking at the city and wondering how you survive a fake wedding when the feelings are starting to become real. Back in the ballroom, Vanessa watches them from across the room. Her champagne glass catches the light as she lifts it in a silent toast. The smile on her face promises that this is only the beginning. Ryan feels Claire's hand find his in the crowd. Her fingers lace through his warm and steady, and just as scared as he is. 1 month until the wedding. 1 month to make a lie look real enough to fool a dying woman and an empire full of sharks. 1 month to keep his heart from doing something stupid. The music swells. Couples drift onto the dance floor. Claire pulls Ryan with her into the center of the performance where 300 pairs of eyes can watch them pretend to be something they're not. Or maybe something they're afraid to admit they're becoming. The month disappears faster than Ryan thought time could move. Wedding planners appear in Claire's townhouse like they've been waiting in the wings. They bring fabric swatches and flower samples and questions about whether the ceremony should be intimate or grand. Claire answers everything in the same tone she uses for board meetings. Efficient, decisive, emotionally absent. Ryan watches her make decisions about their fake wedding with the detachment of someone planning a product launch. Vanessa's words from the gala echo in his head. People who marry into this family usually regret it. Leo, meanwhile, has decided that weddings are basically fancy parties with cake. He's more interested in whether there will be dinosaur decorations than the actual ceremony. Ryan doesn't correct him. Let the kid think it's just a party. Let someone in this house believe in simple things. The night before the wedding, Ryan can't sleep. He stands in his room, the guest wing that's supposed to keep him separate from Claire, but somehow feels like it's getting smaller every day. The tuxedo hangs on the closet door, a reminder of tomorrow's performance. His phone buzzes, a text from his mother. I'm so proud of you. Ryan's chest tightens. She thinks this is real. She thinks her son found love in the middle of chaos. He's let her believe it because the truth would break her heart, and she's already fighting enough battles. He types back, "Thank you. Love you." Then he deletes 3 other responses that were more honest. Down the hall, he hears movement. Claire's room. She's awake too. Ryan doesn't plan to knock. But his feet carry him there anyway, down the hallway that's become familiar in a month past Leo's room where his son sleeps surrounded by plastic dinosaurs standing guard. He taps softly on Claire's door. It opens. Claire stands there in pajamas that probably cost more than Ryan's first car, her hair down, for once her face free of the armor she wears during daylight. Can't sleep either, Ryan asks. Claire steps back, letting him in. Her room is larger than his floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the garden. But it's sparse. No photographs. No personal items. Just expensive furniture and the kind of emptiness that comes from never letting anyone close enough to leave a mark. Claire sits on the edge of her bed. Ryan takes the chair by the window. "Tomorrow's going to be difficult," Claire says. "For you or for me both." They sit in silence, not uncomfortable. Just two people standing on the edge of something they can't name. "I keep thinking about what your grandmother said," Ryan admits. About commitment, about showing her that some things matter more than profit margins. Claire's laugh is quiet and bitter. She's dying and she's still testing me, still pushing, still trying to shape me into whatever version of a Hawthorne she thinks I should be. Maybe she's trying to give you permission. Permission for what? To want something that isn't work. Claire looks at him, then her eyes tired and honest in a way they never are when other people are watching. "I don't know how to want things," she says quietly. "I only know how to achieve them." The vulnerability in her voice makes Ryan's heart hurt. "Leo asks about you," Ryan says, changing the subject before the moment gets too heavy. "At bedtime, he wants to know if you're going to keep living with us after tomorrow. What did you tell him that I don't know? That adults sometimes figure things out as they go." Claire's smile is small and sad. That's more honest than anything I would have said. Kids don't accept corporate speak. Neither should adults. The silence returns. Comfortable now, like they've found a rhythm in the pauses between words. "I should let you sleep," Ryan says, standing. "Ryan." He stops. Claire stands too crossing to him. She's close enough now that he can see the flecks of gold in her eyes, the small scar above her left eyebrow, the way her breath catches, like she's about to say something that scares her. "Tomorrow," she says. "When we kiss. In front of everyone." Ryan's pulse kicks up. "I know it's performance," Claire continues. "I know it's theater. But I need you to know that for me, it's not going to feel like pretending." The words land like a confession. Ryan's hand lifts before he can stop it cupping her face the way he's wanted to for weeks. "Good," he says quietly. "Because I stopped pretending about 3 weeks ago." Claire's eyes widen, then close. She leans into his palm like it's the first gentle thing she's felt in years. They don't kiss. Not yet. Tomorrow will be complicated enough. But they stand there, foreheads touching, breathing the same air, and it feels more intimate than any contract could make legal. Ryan leaves before the moment can break. Back in his room, he stares at the ceiling and knows that tomorrow changes everything. Wedding day arrives with perfect weather, as if even nature has been paid off to cooperate. The ceremony is held at the Hawthorne estate in the garden where Claire's father planted trees that are older than she is. White chairs line a path to an arch wrapped in flowers that cost more than most people's monthly rent. Ryan stands in a room off the main house adjusting his tie for the 100th time. His hands shake. He tells himself it's nerves. That anyone would be nervous standing in front of 300 people to make vows that are partially true and partially performance. But he knows it's more than that. A knock. The door opens. Leo appears looking impossibly small in his miniature tuxedo. "Dad, you look fancy." Ryan kneels down. "You look pretty fancy yourself, buddy." Leo's face gets serious. "Are you scared?" "A little. Me too." "Why are you scared?" Leo shrugs with 5-year-old wisdom. "Because things are changing, and change is scary even when it's good." Ryan pulls his son into a hug, wondering when Leo got so wise. "You're going to be okay," Ryan whispers. "I know," Leo says. "Because you'll be there." The ceremony starts with music that sounds like money. Ryan walks down the aisle with Leo holding his hand. His son insisted on walking with him instead of carrying rings or throwing flowers. Said he wanted to make sure Ryan didn't run away. Smart kid. The guests turn to watch. Ryan sees faces he doesn't know, people who read about this wedding in the society pages and came to witness the spectacle. He sees Vanessa in the third row, her smile sharp enough to draw blood. Then he sees Claire. She steps out from the house and the world narrows to just her. The dress is simple. No train, no excessive lace. Just elegant lines and a woman who looks like she's walking towards something she both wants and fears. Her hair is up, showing the long line of her neck. Her hands aren't shaking, but Ryan can see the tension in her shoulders. Their eyes meet across the garden. Claire's expression shifts. Something softens. Something real breaks through the performance. She reaches the arch. Leo squeezes Ryan's hand once, then goes to sit in the front row next to Ryan's mother, who's crying happy tears that make Ryan's throat tight. The officiant speaks. Ryan doesn't hear most of it. He's too focused on Claire's face, on the way her breathing matches his, on the fact that this moment is both a lie and the most honest thing he's done in years. Then comes the vow exchange. Ryan takes Claire's hands. They're cold, trembling slightly. He speaks the words written for him. Traditional, safe, the kind of vows people expect. But then he adds something that wasn't in the script. "I promise to show up," Ryan says quietly, just for her. Even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Claire's eyes shine. She squeezes his hands. Her turn. She recites her vows with the composure of someone used to public speaking. But when she finishes, she adds her own addition. "I promise to let you," Claire says, her voice barely above a whisper. The officiant smiles, oblivious to the private conversation happening in front of 300 people. You may kiss the bride. This is the moment they've been building toward. The moment Evelyn demanded. The moment that will make this legal and public and real in ways a contract never could. Ryan leans in, whispers so only Claire can hear. "We don't have to." Claire's eyes search his face. Then she glances to the front row where Evelyn sits, oxygen tube in her nose, eyes bright with anticipation and calculation. "It's okay," Claire whispers back. Ryan's hand comes up to cup her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. Claire's breath catches. The kiss starts soft, tentative, a question. Then Claire's hands fist in his jacket, and the kiss deepens, and suddenly Ryan forgets there's an audience. Forgets this is supposed to be theater. His other hand slides to the small of her back, pulling her closer. Claire makes a small sound against his mouth, her fingers curling tighter. They break apart only because breathing becomes necessary. Both are breathing hard. Both look slightly stunned. The guests applaud. Someone whistles. Leo shouts, "That was a good one, Dad." But Ryan only sees Claire. The way her cheeks are flushed, the way she's looking at him like she just realized something she can't take back. Evelyn smiles from her chair. Small, victorious, like she's won a game no one else knew they were playing. The reception is elegant chaos. Champagne flows. A band plays. People dance and laugh and pretend this is a normal wedding instead of a strategic necessity. Ryan and Claire move through it like they're in a dream. They dance because people expect them to. They cut a cake neither of them will eat. They smile for photographs that will be framed and hung and analyzed. But something has shifted. Ryan's hand stays on Claire's waist even when they're not dancing. Claire's fingers find his across tables and in quiet moments. It's not performance anymore. It's muscle memory. It's need. Vanessa appears near the dessert table where Ryan has escaped for air. Quite the performance, she says, voice silk over steel. Ryan doesn't take the bait. "Thank you." Vanessa's smile doesn't reach her eyes. "You're awfully comfortable in her house, in her life. Did Claire tell you what happens when Evelyn dies?" Ryan's jaw tightens. "I assume the will gets executed." Vanessa leans closer, voice dropping. "The will stipulates 1 year of marriage. After Evelyn dies, you stop being useful. You become a loose end. And Claire is very good at tying up loose ends. Ryan turns to face her fully. Sounds like you're rooting for her to die. Vanessa's mask slips for just a second. Something cold flashes in her eyes. I'm rooting for the truth, she says. And the truth is that Claire doesn't do love. She does transactions. You're a single dad with bills and a sick mother. Convenient. Ryan's voice goes quiet. Dangerous. And you're embezzling. Vanessa freezes. Excuse me, I've seen the reports, Ryan continues. The shell vendors, the unusual transfers, the patterns that only appear if you know what you're looking for. And I know what I'm looking for. Vanessa's smile fractures into something uglier. Prove it. She walks away. Ryan's hands are shaking, not from fear, from rage. Claire finds him 10 minutes later on a balcony overlooking the estate grounds. Vanessa cornered you, she says, not a question. Yeah. What did she say? Ryan debates lying, decides against it. That you don't do love, that I'm convenient, that after Evelyn dies I become a loose end. Claire's face goes still. And you believe her? I believe she's desperate, Ryan says. Desperate people are dangerous. Claire steps closer. She's also embezzling, and she knows we're getting close to proof. How close vary. Claire shows him on her phone. Financial reports, transfer records. A pattern of theft so elegant it took months to uncover. Ryan scrolls through the data with the analytical part of his brain that never shuts off. This is millions, he says, over 5 years. Claire's voice is calm, but her hands betray her gripping the balcony rail white-knuckled. She's been siphoning money through shell companies, then cycling it back through legitimate contracts. Clean on paper, devastating in reality. What's the plan? Presented to the board after Evelyn passes. Remove Vanessa. Prosecute if necessary. And if she runs, Claire's smile has teeth. Then she runs without the company, without the money, without the power she's been stealing. They stand side by side watching the sun set over land that's been in Claire's family for generations. The weight of what they're holding, what they're building, settles between them. We're in this now, Ryan says quietly. Really, in this. Claire's hand finds his. I know. That night, after the guests have gone and the staff has cleaned up and the house has returned to something approaching quiet, Ryan checks on Leo. His son is asleep in bed, still in his tuxedo pants but shirtless, a stuffed triceratops clutched to his chest. Ryan smiles, starts to leave. Dad, Ryan turns. Leo's eyes are open, sleepy but aware. Yeah, buddy, I had a bad dream. Ryan's heart clenches. He crosses to the bed, sits on the edge. Want to talk about it? Leo sits up, rubbing his eyes. You left, like Mom did. And Claire was sad. Ryan pulls his son into his arms. I'm not leaving, he says firmly. I promise. But what if you have to? Why would I have to? Leo's 5-year-old logic is brutal in its honesty, because grown-ups always have reasons. They say they'll stay, and then they don't. Ryan's throat tightens. He thinks about Jenna, about the note, about all the ways adults fail children by breaking promises they shouldn't make. Come with me, Ryan says. He carries Leo down the hall to Claire's room, knocks softly. Claire opens the door, still in her wedding dress, looking exhausted and beautiful and slightly confused. Leo had a nightmare, Ryan explains. Claire's expression shifts immediately. She kneels to Leo's level. Are you okay? Leo shakes his head. I'm scared you and Dad will leave. Claire looks up at Ryan. Something passes between them. An understanding, a choice. Can he stay with us tonight, Ryan asks. Just until he feels safe again. Claire doesn't hesitate. Of course. They end up in Claire's bed, all 3 of them. Leo in the middle, Ryan on one side, Claire on the other. It's cramped and impractical and completely outside the bounds of their contract. Claire finds a documentary about dinosaurs on her tablet. Leo watches with rapt attention his breathing gradually evening out. Ryan watches Claire watch his son. The careful way she brushes hair from Leo's forehead. The small smile when Leo asks a question about velociraptors. The softness in her eyes that she never shows the boardroom. Leo falls asleep first, his small body relaxed between them. Claire looks across at Ryan in the dim light from the tablet screen. "This wasn't in the contract," she whispers. "No," Ryan agrees. "It wasn't, but it feels right." "Yeah, it does." Claire's hand reaches across Leo's sleeping form. Ryan takes it. Their fingers lace together over the child who brought them here, who sees through every lie they tell, who needs them both. The fake marriage became a real wedding. The real wedding became this, a family that nobody planned, but everybody needs. Outside, the city sleeps. Inside, 3 people who were supposed to be pretending have forgotten how to fake it. And somewhere across town, Vanessa sits in her apartment, staring at news photos of the wedding, calculating her next move with the desperate focus of someone who knows the walls are closing in. The game has changed. The stakes have risen. And the year they agreed to is far from over. But for tonight in this bed with this child between them and their hands joined across his small body, Ryan and Claire stop playing chess with their lives. For tonight they just hold on. The morning after the wedding, Ryan wakes up still dressed in his tuxedo pants, neck stiff from sleeping at an angle, one arm numb because Leo used it as a pillow all night. Claire is already awake. She sits against the headboard, tablet in hand, working through emails like last night didn't happen. Like they didn't fall asleep as a family. But when she notices Ryan's eyes open, she sets the tablet aside. "Good morning," she says quietly, careful not to wake Leo. Morning. They look at each other across Leo's sleeping form. The light coming through the windows is soft early. The kind of morning that feels stolen from real life. This is becoming a habit, Claire says. Bad habit or good habit? Claire's smile is small, I'm not sure yet. Leo stirs between them, making the small grumbling sounds of a kid who doesn't want to wake up but knows he has to. He blinks up at Claire. Then Ryan, then seems to remember where he is. "Did I sleep here all night?" "You did," Ryan confirms. "Cool," Leo says, then rolls over and goes back to sleep. Claire laughs softly. The sound makes Ryan's chest warm. They extract themselves carefully, leaving Leo to sleep in. In the kitchen, Claire makes coffee while Ryan starts breakfast. It's domestic in a way that should feel strange, but doesn't. The board meeting is tomorrow, Claire says, measuring coffee grounds with precision. "I'm presenting the evidence against Vanessa. How do you think she'll react?" Claire's jaw tightens. Badly. She's cornered. And cornered animals are unpredictable. "Do you think she knows how much we have?" "I think she suspects, which makes her dangerous." Ryan flips an egg, thinking about Vanessa's eyes at the reception. The cold calculation there. Maybe I should take Leo to my mother's for a few days. Until this settles. Claire looks at him sharply. "You think she'd go after Leo?" "I think desperate people do desperate things, and I'm not risking my son to find out." Claire nods slowly. "That's smart. I'll have security upgraded here too." They eat breakfast in silence, both thinking about threats neither wants to name. 2 days later, Ryan drops Leo at his mother's apartment in Cambridge. His mom looks better. The treatment is working. The color is coming back to her face. She hugs Leo so tight the kid squeaks. "Grandma, you're squishing me. Sorry, baby. I just missed you." She looks at Ryan over Leo's head. Her eyes are knowing. "How's married life?" Ryan forces a smile. "Complicated. The best things usually are." Leo runs off to explore his grandmother's apartment. Ryan's mom makes tea neither of them drinks. "She's good for you," his mother says, "Claire. I can see it in your eyes." Ryan doesn't know how to explain that it's complicated, that it started as a transaction, that it's becoming something else, that he's terrified of what happens when the year ends. So he just says, "Yeah, she is." His mother pats his hand. "Then don't let her go." Ryan drives back to Boston thinking about how easy it sounds when someone says it like that. Don't let her go, as if love is just a choice, as if fear doesn't get a vote. He arrives at the townhouse in the late afternoon. The place is quiet. Too quiet. Claire. No answer. He moves through the first floor. Nothing. Checks her office. Empty. Then he hears voices upstairs. One he recognizes. One he doesn't want to. Ryan takes the stairs two at a time. Claire's bedroom door is open. Vanessa stands inside, arms crossed, face composed in that way that means she's barely holding rage together. Claire stands by her window, spine, straight eyes cold. Ryan, Vanessa says without turning. Perfect timing. "What are you doing here?" Ryan demands. "Having a conversation with my dear cousin. About truth, about consequences." Claire's voice is ice. "Get out of my house." Vanessa laughs. The sound has edges. "Your house, your company, your fake husband, you've built quite the empire on lies, Claire." Ryan moves to Claire's side, protective. Vanessa tracks the movement with predator eyes. "You're snooping," Vanessa says to Ryan. "Going through financial records, playing detective." "I'm reading what your money trail screams," Ryan says evenly. Vanessa's smile fractures. "Did you know Claire doesn't do love? She does leverage. Strategy. You're a single dad with bills. Convenient." Ryan's hands curl into fists. "And you're embezzling millions. Prove it," Vanessa hisses. "Tomorrow," Claire says. "Board meeting, 2 p.m., bring a lawyer." Vanessa's composure cracks fully. Her face contorts with fury. "You self-righteous bitch. You think you're better than me? You think marrying some desperate widower makes you noble." "He's not a widower," Claire says quietly. "And he's not desperate. He's decent, which is something you wouldn't recognize." Vanessa steps closer. Ryan moves between them instinctively. "This isn't over," Vanessa says. "You want to play games with the board? Fine, but remember Claire. Evelyn won't live forever. And when she's gone, your little arrangement here becomes optional." She leaves. The sound of her heels on the stairs is sharp, final. Claire stands very still. Ryan can see her hands shaking. "Are you okay?" Claire nods. Doesn't speak. Ryan reaches for her. She steps back. "I'm fine." "Claire, I said I'm fine." But she's not fine. Ryan can see it in the rigid set of her shoulders. The way her breathing is too controlled. He doesn't push, just stays close, in case she needs him. The call comes at 3 a.m. Ryan is half asleep when his phone buzzes. Claire's name on the screen. He answers. Claire. Her voice is small, broken. She's gone. Ryan is out of bed before his brain fully processes. Down the hall, into Claire's room. She sits on the floor by her bed phone, still in her hand face wet with tears. My grandmother, Claire, whispers. She died, an hour ago, peacefully in her sleep. Ryan kneels beside her, pulls her into his arms. Claire stiffens, then collapses. The sound she makes is grief without performance. Raw, unfiltered. The kind of crying that comes from a place deeper than words. Ryan holds her while she breaks. His shirt gets soaked, his arms ache. He doesn't let go. I wasn't there, Claire gasps between sobs. She died alone. She wasn't alone. The nurse was with her. But I wasn't. I should have been. Ryan pulls back enough to look at her face. She knew you loved her. Claire shakes her head violently. I never said it. I never told her. You showed her. Every day, every decision, every sacrifice. She knew. Claire's breath hitches. She was the only one who could scare me into being brave. Ryan cups her face in his hands. She'd be furious if you used her death as an excuse to stop living. Claire laughs once. Broken. Wet. She would, wouldn't she? Yeah, she would. They sit on the floor until Claire's breathing evens out, until the tears slow, until exhaustion takes over where grief was. Ryan helps her to bed. She grips his hand. Stay, she whispers. He stays. The next 3 days are a blur of arrangements and obligations. The funeral is massive. Hundreds of people who claim to know Evelyn Hawthorne but really just knew her money, her power, her legacy. Claire moves through it like a ghost. She accepts condolences with grace. She makes decisions about flowers and music and burial plots. She does everything that's expected, but at night she breaks. Ryan is there every time, holding her, not speaking, just present. Leo comes back for the funeral. He's quiet, sensing the weight in the house even if he doesn't fully understand it. Why is everyone so sad? He asks Ryan. Because someone important died. Was she nice? Ryan thinks about Evelyn, her sharp tests, her impossible standards, her demand for truth in a family built on performance. She was brave, Ryan says, and she loved Claire very much. Leo nods solemnly. Then we should be extra nice to Claire. Yeah, buddy, we should. The night after the funeral. After everyone has gone and the house returns to its terrible quiet, Claire finds Ryan on the balcony where they've had so many conversations. She stands beside him. They watch the city pretend nothing has changed. The will gets read tomorrow, Claire says. Ryan nods. And then what Claire's voice is careful. Too careful. Then you're free. Ryan's head snaps toward her. What Claire won't meet his eyes. The contract is fulfilled. You showed up, you played the part, the promotion stands, the bonus stands. Your mother's treatment is covered. You don't have to keep doing this. Ryan's stomach drops. Keep doing what this, us, the arrangement. The word arrangement feels like a slap. So, that's it, Ryan says, voice flat. 1 year. Except we didn't even get to 1 year. Claire's walls slam up. Her voice goes CEO steady. What do you want, Ryan? This was always a transaction. We both got what we needed. Ryan steps back like she hit him. Right. A transaction. I forgot. He turns to leave. Claire's hand shoots out, grabbing his wrist. Not controlling, desperate. Wait, Ryan doesn't look at her. Claire's voice cracks. That came out wrong. Ryan finally turns. His eyes are burning. Then say it right. Claire swallows hard. Her hand is still on his wrist, trembling. I don't know how to do this. Do what? This? Claire gestures between them. Feel things. Want things that aren't on a spreadsheet. Care about someone so much it terrifies me. Ryan's anger drains away. Claire, she rushes the words, terrified. I love you. Ryan goes completely still. Claire's eyes shine with tears. Not because you're useful, not because you signed a paper, because you showed up. You stayed. You held me when I broke. You made this house warmer. You made me want things I thought I'd buried. Ryan's hands rise to her face, cradling it like something precious. Claire, he says again, softer now. I've been falling for you since the first night you got glue on your hands and pretended you weren't happy. Claire laughs through tears. I was terrible at that craft project. You were perfect. Ryan leans in, kisses her. Not for cameras, not for grandmothers, not for contracts. For them. Claire's arms wrap around his neck. She kisses him back like he's oxygen, like she's been drowning and just found air. They break apart, breathing hard. I'm scared, Claire admits. Me too. What if I mess this up? Then we'll figure it out. What if I can't be what you need? Ryan's thumb brushes her cheekbone. You already are. Claire's breath catches. I don't know how to be someone's wife, someone's partner. I only know how to be a CEO. Ryan's smile is gentle. Good thing I don't need a CEO. I just need you, even the messy parts, especially the messy parts. Claire kisses him again, softer this time, like she's memorizing the moment. When they pull apart, Ryan asks the question that's been haunting him. What happens now? After the will reading, Claire's hand finds his. Now we stop pretending this was ever fake. You mean that every word? Ryan pulls her close. She fits against him like she was designed for this space. The city sprawls below them, indifferent to their crisis, indifferent to their love. But they're not indifferent. Not anymore. What about Vanessa? Ryan asks. Tomorrow, Claire says. We deal with Vanessa tomorrow. Tonight I just want this, you, me, real. Ryan kisses the top of her head. I can do real. They stand there until the cold drives them inside, until exhaustion demands sleep, until the fear becomes manageable because they're not facing it alone. In bed, Claire curls into Ryan's side like she belongs there. Thank you, she whispers. For what? For not running. When I gave you the chance, I don't run from things that matter. Claire's hand spreads over his heart. You matter, she says. You and Leo, you matter more than any company, any will, any inheritance. Ryan's arms tighten around her. We're in this now. Really, in this, I know. No more contracts, no more arrangements, no more lies, Claire agrees. They fall asleep tangled together. Two people who started as strangers, became actors, then became something real. But morning comes, and with morning comes the will reading, the board meeting. Vanessa, the war isn't over. It's just beginning. But for the first time, Claire and Ryan aren't fighting it separately. They're fighting together, and that changes everything. The will reading happens in a conference room that smells like old leather and older money. Evelyn's lawyer is a man in his 70s who looks like he's read this kind of document 1,000 times and still finds the drama tedious. Claire sits at the table, Ryan beside her. Vanessa sits across from them, her lawyer next to her like a shield. The terms are clear. With Evelyn's death and Claire's marriage, controlling interest of Hawthorne Creative and Brands transfers to Claire. Vanessa receives a settlement. Generous by most standards, insulting by Hawthorne standards. Vanessa's face goes white with rage. This is a joke, she says. The lawyer doesn't look up from his papers. This is your grandmother's final will and testament. Executed properly. Witnessed legal. Vanessa's eyes cut to Claire. You manipulated her in her final days. You brought in this, she gestures at Ryan with contempt, this prop to play husband and convinced a dying woman you'd changed. Claire's voice is steady as stone. I convinced her of nothing. I showed her what she asked to see. Commitment. Vanessa stands abruptly. This isn't over. Actually, Claire says quietly it is. The board meeting is in 2 hours. I suggest you bring your lawyer to that one too. Vanessa's face contorts. Then she turns and walks out, her lawyer scrambling to follow. Ryan exhales slowly. That went better than expected. Claire's laugh is short. That was the easy part. The board meeting is held in the main conference room at Hawthorne Creative. 15 board members sit around a table that cost more than most cars. They're old money and new money and no money, but connections, all of them watching Claire with the anticipation of people who smell blood in the water. Claire stands at the head of the table. Ryan sits in the back observing. He's not bored, not family, but Claire wanted him there. Claire doesn't waste time. I'm calling for the immediate removal of Vanessa Hawthorne from all company positions and board seats, she says. The room erupts. Voices overlap. Questions fire. Claire raises a hand. The room quiets. She connects her laptop to the screen. Financial reports appear. Transfer records. Shell companies. A pattern of embezzlement laid out in numbers that don't lie. Over the past 5 years, Claire explains, voice calm and clinical. Vanessa has diverted approximately $8.3 million through fraudulent vendor contracts and shell companies. She's been cycling money out of operational budgets and into personal accounts. A board member, old banking money with Harvard degrees, leans forward. These are serious allegations. These are facts, Claire corrects. I have documentation. Bank records, transfer receipts, communications. She clicks through slides, each one more damning than the last. Vanessa sits at the table, face composed, but Ryan can see the panic in her eyes. Her lawyer whispers urgently in her ear. This is circumstantial, the lawyer says. Financial irregularities don't prove intent. Claire's smile is cold. The emails prove intent. She pulls up communication records. Vanessa's emails to shell company contacts, instructions for transfers, confirmations of receipt. The room goes silent. A vote, someone says. The removal is unanimous. Vanessa doesn't even vote against it. She stands, looks at Claire with hatred so pure it's almost admirable. You think you've won, Vanessa says. I think you're done, Claire replies. Vanessa leaves. Her lawyer follows. The door closes. The board dissolves into discussions about damage control and public relations. Claire lets them talk. She's already moving to the next thing. Ryan finds her afterward in her office. She's staring out the window at Boston, spreading below her like conquered territory. You did it, Ryan says. Claire doesn't turn. She's going to run. You think I know. Prosecution takes time. She has resources, connections. She'll disappear before charges are filed. Ryan moves to stand beside her. Can you stop her? Claire shakes her head. I can make it harder, freeze accounts, alert authorities. But if she's smart, she's already moving money offshore, so she gets away. For now. They stand in silence. Does it feel like winning? Ryan asks. Claire considers this. It feels like surviving. Ryan takes her hand, then we keep surviving. 3 months later, the house has changed. Not physically. The walls are the same. The expensive furniture hasn't moved. But the energy is different. Warmer. Lived in. Leo's dinosaurs have migrated beyond his room. They're on the kitchen counter. In the living room. 1 battalion guards the bathroom sink. Claire stopped trying to contain them. Now she just steps around plastic velociraptors on her way to morning coffee. Ryan watches from the kitchen as Claire reads Leo a bedtime story. They're in the living room. Leo curled against her side. Claire's voice soft as she navigates a tale about dinosaur families protecting each other across species lines. Leo interrupts every third sentence with questions. Claire answers each one patiently. It's a routine they've developed, one that makes Ryan's chest tight with something he's learned to recognize as happiness. When the story ends, Leo doesn't move. Claire, he says, Are you going to stay? Claire's hand stills on the page. What do you mean, sweetheart? Leo's voice gets smaller. Mom left. People leave. Are you going to leave too? Claire sets the book aside. She shifts so she can look at Leo properly. No, she says, I'm not leaving. How do you know? Because I love you, and I love your dad, and this is my home now. Leo studies her face with 5-year-old intensity. Do you promise? I promise. Leo nods, satisfied. Okay. Because if you left, Dad would be sad, and I would be sad, and the dinosaurs would be sad. Claire's smile trembles slightly. We can't have sad dinosaurs. No, that would be terrible. Leo kisses her cheek, then scrambles up and runs to Ryan. Dad, Claire promised she's staying. I heard, buddy. That's good, right? That's very good. Leo yawns hugely. I'm going to bed now. Being reassured is exhausting. He trudges upstairs. Ryan and Claire listen to his footsteps, the sound of a door closing, the settling of a house that knows its occupants. Claire stands and crosses to Ryan. He pulls her into his arms. You promised, he says into her hair. I did. You don't break promises. Not to him. Not to you. Ryan kisses her temple. There's paperwork on the counter, Claire says quietly. What kind of paperwork? The kind that makes me Leo's legal guardian. If something happens to you, and adoption paperwork, if you want. Eventually, Ryan pulls back to look at her. You want to adopt Leo. Claire's eyes are vulnerable. I want to be his mom. Legally, officially, if that's okay with you. Ryan's throat tightens. Yeah, that's okay with me. They kiss. Soft. Sweet. The kind of kiss that doesn't lead anywhere except to more kisses. Comfortable. Certain. The company is thriving. With Vanessa gone, Claire has restructured, brought in new leadership. The stock has climbed, investors are happy, but Vanessa herself has vanished. Claire's private investigator reports sightings. Singapore, Switzerland, the Cayman Islands, always one step ahead, always moving. Ryan upgrades the security system, adds cameras, changes passwords, makes sure Leo's school has protocols. Claire tries not to let it consume her, but Ryan sees the way she checks her phone, the way her eyes scan crowds, the way she tenses when unexpected mail arrives. One night, they're lying in bed, Claire's head on Ryan's chest when she speaks into the darkness. Do you ever regret it? Regret what? This. Us. The complications. Ryan's hand moves through her hair. Never. Not even when you're dealing with my family drama. Especially not then. Claire lifts her head to look at him. You're very strange. I'm very in love. Claire's smile is soft. That too. They fall asleep tangled together. These days they always do. The guest wing sits empty. Has for months. The text comes on a Tuesday. Ryan is at work when his phone buzzes. Unknown number. The message is simple. What you love can be taken. Ryan's blood turns cold. He calls Claire immediately. I got one too, she says before he can speak. Same message, word for word. Ryan's jaw clenches. I'm coming home. I'm already on my way. They meet at the house. The security system shows nothing unusual, no breaches, no attempts, but the message is clear. Vanessa. Ryan pulls up Leo's school on his phone. Calls. This is Ryan Cole. Leo's father. Is he in class? A pause. Typing. Yes, Mr. Cole. He's in art right now. Is everything okay? Fine. Just checking. Thank you. Ryan hangs up. Looks at Claire. She's trying to scare us. It's working, Claire admits. They call the investigator, the detective who's been tracking Vanessa. He promises to intensify efforts, to coordinate with international authorities, to do everything possible. But they all know Vanessa is smart, resourceful, and motivated by something more powerful than money: revenge. That night, after Leo is asleep, Claire and Ryan sit in the living room. The house is locked, alarmed, monitored, but fear doesn't respect security systems. What do we do? Ryan asks. Claire's hand finds his. We protect what matters, and if she comes back, then we face her together. Ryan looks at the woman beside him, the one who started as a stranger, became an employer, then a wife. Now, something deeper than all those words combined. I won't let her hurt you, Ryan says, either of you. Claire's smile is small but real. I won't let her hurt you either. They sit in the quiet holding hands, two people who learned how to love in the middle of a lie and are now learning how to protect that love from truth's consequences. Upstairs, Leo sleeps surrounded by dinosaurs, unaware that the adults in his life are building walls around his safety, unaware that love sometimes requires standing guard. But he's safe, for now, and for now is all any of them can promise. 2 weeks later, the investigator calls. Vanessa's accounts have gone dark. No activity, no sightings. She's either gone very deep or she's planning something, he says. Which do you think? Claire asks. The investigator is quiet for a moment. People like her don't just disappear. They wait, they plan, they strike when you're comfortable. So, we stay vigilant. You stay vigilant. Claire thanks him and hangs up. That night, she and Ryan sit Leo down, explain in kid-appropriate terms that they're being extra careful right now, that there's a person who might try to cause problems, that it's important Leo stays close to adults he trusts. Leo listens with serious eyes. Is it the lady from the wedding? The one who looked angry? Claire and Ryan exchange glances. Yes, Claire says, it's her. Leo nods. She didn't like our dinosaur family story. No, Ryan says gently, she didn't. That's sad, Leo observes, because it's a good story. Claire pulls him into her lap. It's a very good story, she agrees. And we don't let sad people ruin good stories, Leo declares with 5-year-old certainty. Nobody, we don't. That becomes their mantra. Don't let sad people ruin good stories. Life continues. Work, school, dinners where Leo explains dinosaur facts, and Claire and Ryan pretend they haven't heard them 100 times before. They take Leo to the aquarium, to museums, to parks where he can run and scream and be a kid who doesn't know his family started as fraud. They're building something real from foundation that was fake. And it's messy and complicated and sometimes scary, but it's theirs. One evening, 3 months and 2 weeks after Vanessa's message, Ryan comes home to find Claire and Leo building a blanket fort in the living room. Leo's architectural vision involves every pillow in the house and complete structural disregard for physics. Claire is trying to explain load-bearing principles. Leo is ignoring her in favor of aesthetic choices. Ryan watches from the doorway. His family, improbable and precious and worth protecting. Dad, Leo shouts, come help. Claire doesn't understand fort engineering. I understand it perfectly. Claire protests. I'm just trying to keep it from collapsing on us. That's what makes it exciting, Leo explains. Ryan joins them. They build a fort that defies logic but somehow stands. Inside, with fairy lights strung from blanket edges, they eat pizza and tell stories and exist in a bubble of warmth that feels invincible. Leo falls asleep between them, tomato sauce on his chin, clutching his triceratops. Claire looks at Ryan across their sleeping son. This is what winning feels like, she says quietly. Ryan smiles. Yeah, it is. Outside, the city moves. Vanessa is somewhere planning or hiding or both. Threats exist. Danger lurks. But inside this blanket fort in this house that used to be empty, 3 people who weren't supposed to be a family have become exactly that. A marriage that started with a contract and a question about sleeping arrangements. A CEO who learned that control isn't the same as connection. A single dad who discovered that taking a risk on love can save more than just bank accounts. And a 5-year-old who sees through every lie but believes in every promise. They are imperfect. They are complicated. They are real. And when Vanessa comes back, because people like her always come back, they won't face her separately. They'll face her as a family. Because that's what you do when you stop pretending and start protecting. You stand together, you hold on, you choose love over fear, even when fear has receipts and offshore accounts and nothing left to lose. The dinosaurs stand guard on the bookshelf, plastic sentinels watching over a family they helped build. And in the morning, when sunlight breaks the darkness, Claire and Ryan will wake up still tangled with Leo between them. Still married, still scared, still fighting. But never alone. Never again alone. The end.